Hello, everyone. This is Lance Mullen, host of the MSU WMA podcast. Today we have special guest Stefan Prvanov. Stefan is a lead advisor and is president and CEO of Blankinship and Foster, located in Carlsbad, California. Stefan and I discuss how he got where he is today, what his role is, and advice for young professionals. Enjoy. Welcome back, everyone, to the MSU WMA podcast. Today I have special guest Stefan Prvanov. Stefan, it's great to have you on.
Thanks, Lance. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. So I kind of want to just start off. Do you want to give a little bit of your background and kind of where you are today?
Sure. I started in the industry, gosh, it's been maybe 25 years now. But I was with a firm back in the DC area. I was with them for about 8 years, and that's where I kind of learned the business. It was a firm where there's only 12 of us. And over those 8 years, we grew from that to about 40 plus people. There was 4 owners, and they were great mentors, and where I got my hands dirty and learned the business. And then I moved back west where I grew up in the San Diego area and joined a firm there. And I am still with that same firm, but grew in that area from an advisor and et cetera to where myself and 2 others took over the firm. The 2 founders had retired. And so that's where we are today. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Kind of curious. So you're from the San Diego area. What kind of drew you to go on the other side of the country to DC area?
Oh, gosh, that was my wife. We were out in San Diego, and then her job actually took us out to the DC area.
Okay.
And my job kept us there longer than we thought we'd be out there. And we said, you know what, let's get back to San Diego. We really loved it out there, and we made it happen. So it worked out really well.
Okay. So what was that transition like coming back to San Diego, and how did you end up at the firm you're at today?
So before we moved back to San Diego, I was doing my homework on what kind of firms that I wanted to join. And happened to be, this goes back a long ways now, back in the newspaper when you look for ads. So I found an ad, and we were in temporary housing. We had moved back to San Diego, and I moved back without a job. And I was looking for in the paper, and I happened to see an ad for this company, Blankinship and Foster, and I knew of it. And I said, dang. So I asked my old friend if I could use his computer, because I wasn't planning on really looking for work at that time. And I applied, and it all worked out. So I joined the firm, started off as a kind of a associate advisor, moved my way up to be an advisor, become a partner, and then was one of 3 people that bought the firm.
That's awesome. Do you want to kind of go through that a little bit? Kind of your process of moving up in the company?
Yeah, I'll first start off with the company that I was really back in DC. Like I said, it was a great company where the role was where you were in position to learn. So we did investment management, we did financial planning, and we did tax returns. So I started off really as just a person that was just getting my hands dirty in all kinds of stuff, just more administrative role, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then gradually moved up to where I was helping advisors. I was helping on the investment side. I was preparing tax returns, and just learning the business, and then getting involved with client relationships. So I learned all the technical skills, all the things that you had to do and learn in order to become an advisor. And I became an advisor there. But then when we moved to San Diego, I joined the firm as an advisor, more as a support advisor, and then became a primary advisor. We're working directly with clients and et cetera. And then took other portfolio management responsibilities, took some leadership responsibilities, and then became a partner that then has more leadership responsibilities, and those are a lot of learning. And
Yeah,
then became CEO and president, and then the founders retired, and then the three of us are the principals of the firm, and we run the firm. So we're a number of different hats today.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, what do you think got you to where you're at today? Like, would what would you say are probably like three qualities that really stuck out and allowed you to be up and become successful within the company?
Yeah, great question, Lance. So one is the desire to learn, just keep learning. And that can come in all kinds of forms, from watching, observing in the firm that you're with the people, taking on responsibilities that are not your core responsibilities. Outside learning, just taking the initiative to learn, read. Now there's so much like podcasts, like what you're doing here.
Mhm.
There's so
Yeah,
many opportunities to learn. So learn, and take all the advantages that are out there. And there are tons of advantages, abilities to do that. The other is listening. Be a good listener. Listen to clients, listen to people, keep your mind open, and just having great listening skills. Um, and then, early on, I got advice: think like an owner. So
hmm,
go in with everything that you do, think from like an owner, how to improve things, how, would you do things differently, and speak up, you know, and there might be a great reason why your idea is not a good idea. And I had a lot of those.
yeah,
And people explain why that wouldn't be a good idea, or they had tried that, but that's fine. And there are some things that were great ideas that we implemented, and that puts you in a great position to have your supervisors and bosses have more confidence in you.
yeah. I like that point of you got a lot of ideas, put them out there for other people to tell you if that is a good idea, if it'll
Yeah.
work. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, um, kind of jumping over to what you do today, as CEO and kind of like transitioning from being lead advisor or associate advisor, what does that kind of look like? How is that different now?
So I wear a number of hats. Um, we are kind of a mid-sized firm, about 16 people. So depending on your perspective on that. So I wear a number of hats. So I clearly still have client responsibilities, and we do work as a team. So I have client responsibilities, but I have a great team with me, helping me support those clients. But then I have leadership responsibilities of the firm, obviously. Um, Looking out for the direction of the firm, where the industry is going, trying to understand that, be in position to be able to pivot when needed, to bring in new technology or new ways to improve things. So constantly to improve. And I talked about learning. I still do a lot of learning. I listen to a lot
Yeah,
of podcasts. I read industry material. And I also look outside our industry for ideas and to learn. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. But to answer your question, I wear multiple hats. Again, I'm an advisor. I have a team on different areas, from operations, and then just from a leadership team aspect as well.
yeah, that makes total sense. So when you're working with clients, I know a lot of companies will have like a niche or demographic that they kind of work with. Do you guys have anything similar, or do you work with anyone? Do
Yeah,
you,
it's
yeah,
a little more broad than a specific niche. Niches are awesome. I'm a big fan of that. But we tend to have retirees or people that are approaching retirement, to be honest. And then we have kind of a newer, younger doctor platform as well. So
okay,
that's relatively new, and we've been building that out. It's kind of cool. We have another team that kind of heads that up. I'm not as close to it as them. I
yeah,
get all the information from them, but it's kind of a cool, and we're still learning and trying to do that. And where that came about is we had a lot of doctors as clients, so we've
okay,
seen a lot of issues and things that could have done better if they had worked with us or another advisor firm earlier. And so we saw some trends in certain things that always happen, well, not always, but consistently, that if we were to work with younger doctors and work with them earlier, we could put them in a better position at the time they are approaching retirement.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you kind of work with a number of different clients, but those are kind of the newer niches that you're going with.
Yeah, I kind of phrase it as people that are approaching retirement and then the younger doctor space.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you obviously at Blankinship and Foster, a lot of the associates have the CFP, and I know here at Michigan State with our wealth management program, we have a CFP program here. Um, do you want to kind of talk a little bit more about the CFP? Kind of how you got into it, how you got that designation, and maybe offer some advice for people taking it?
Yeah, I probably am not going to be very good at giving advice on people are taking it because it's been so long. But
Yeah.
yeah, I took it on early. Probably in the first year, I started the process when I started in the industry. And to be honest, it's table stakes. I think if you really want to be a professional in this space, it's something that you really have to have. And it gives you a nice broad education covering a lot of different aspects of the financial planning industry. But I think it gives you some credibility. It shows that you are dedicated to the profession, both from from your employer, but also from the client's aspect as well, and then from other professionals. So, we work with attorneys, we work with CPAs. They also want to see credentials as well as they interact with other professionals. So it gives you credibility if you're going to be self-employed, so your clients, or if you're from your employer, and then also from other professionals. So I think it is table stakes in order to really progress in the profession. And then in regards, you want to continue to learn, and so that kind of gives you a good starting point.
Yeah, I think it's a very useful designation. I've heard from people that have taken it. It's super useful in the learning process. And also, like you said, for the clients to know that they have someone who knows what they're talking about. I
Yeah,
think that's huge.
yeah.
So when you kind of took over the business at Blankenship and Foster and became partner, what were some of the difficulties when you started running the business rather than just being the advisor part of the business?
It's you are in a position where you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
It was balancing, you know, client managing clients and the relationships, and then having enough time to put dedication to the business. And that I learned in that you have to set time aside to work in the business
Hmm.
and on the business. So you need time for both. So, and we've done that. We've structured that where now we do that. We have a leadership team meeting every week, Tuesday morning, 90
Okay.
minutes. And it's a leadership team, and it's basically on the business. Just a couple of weeks ago, we do this every quarter. We set a full day offsite with a leadership team, and we set our priorities that what we're going to do for the quarter. We actually also do an annual one that's a 2-day, and that sets the direction of the firm for 10 years out, 3 years
Hmm.
out, what our goals are going to be for 1 year, and then again for this coming quarter. So we've really done that and put a dedication and time and effort into that. We use an outside consultant for those 1-day and 2-day outside sessions, and it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah. So with that, I'm assuming that it's mostly kind of client driven. How can we improve their experience? Do you ever hear like feedback and say, "Hey, I'm glad we did that," or what does that kind of look like with clients?
Oh yeah, That's one of the things that's very rewarding in this in this field is that we do hear that from clients. It could be from little things that, thank goodness we got your wire out for the home that I bought. And that's the client service team working directly with the clients, to making some big decisions on either buying a place or not buying a place, to how are they going to retire, how they could help their kids or help their parents, and putting them in position to accomplish what was important to them. And that can vary from one client to another. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's not. It's giving them the confidence that they are in the right path, that they have the means to do something where they didn't think they did. Or it could be just from the general market where we've seen these bank failures and people who are concerned about their banks. In the financial crisis in 2007, 2008, 2009, we were actually getting more calls probably about what they should do about their bank accounts versus their portfolio, and just kind of putting them at ease.
Yeah, so working in the industry, you've seen the market go up and down, and you've seen different things happen throughout the world. How do you handle that as an advisor? Like when those difficulties come, how do you work with your clients to make sure they're at ease?
Oh gosh, yeah. We know those are going to happen. We just don't know when. We went through some big ones here in the financial recession there in 2008. Last year was a little bit of a blip, and we know we're going to have them. So it's really preparing and getting clients in position for those before they occur. And that comes from their portfolio, but more so even from their overall financial aspect, putting them in position where they could ride that out. And ride it out, it's never going to be comfortable, but ride it out where they have more confidence. And that's what we want to be creating. One is giving them confidence that they could ride that out before it occurs. They show them when it is occurring, show them how they could ride that out. And they have the means on short term, or be it cash or short-term bonds or whatever it might be, to have that ability to ride out the market. We know the market's going to do what it's going to do. We don't know how deep or how long, but we're in position to get through it. So a lot of education, actually.
Okay. And I kind of want to stay on that topic of investment management. How do you guys go about that? How do you work with the family or an individual with their investments, and how do you kind of make sure that they're in the right area?
Yeah, we first do the planning before we could build the portfolio. So we put together a net worth statement, understanding big picture, where all their assets are, how they're positioned, how much real estate they have, how much liquidity they have. We put a cash flow statement, where their funds are coming, where their income's coming from, what their expenses are, to understand that. And then understand their situation, where they are today, where they're looking to go. We have to understand that before we can actually build the portfolio. We have some clients that are 10% stocks, and we have other clients that are 90% stocks, and everything in between. And it's all based on their own individual circumstances. And so we look at the planning work that drives the portfolio decisions in working with the client and building that portfolio. And then as far as if you're asking how we build portfolios, what tools we use for that, we use mostly ETFs and some mutual funds, no fee, non-transaction, or commission-oriented type of funds. So, and ETFs don't have transactions and what have you. But we build the portfolios using those type of tools. We don't use individual stocks.
Okay. Yeah, that's I think a lot of companies have kind of moved to that way with the fee-only structure. And so I kind of want to jump back into your client demographic. I forgot to ask you this, but do you kind of work with people only on the West Coast or from the San Diego area? Where is your clients usually located at?
Primary San Diego, but certainly they are throughout the U.S. And that could be from where clients moved away from San Diego. Clients have relatives that they have in different states. Clients find us different ways, either website or whatever, heard about us from different things. For a long time, I had a client in Maine that I had never actually met. And certainly, as you know, that's easier these days than what it was at one
Yeah,
time. And so distance is really not an issue. That's a non-issue these days. But people still do like to come in and meet face to face.
mhm,
And it's interesting. Sometimes, people think that would be the older clients, but that's not necessarily true. We have a number of younger clients, some that intentionally changed their advisor where they were back east, but they wanted someone local here that they can meet, and they're
yeah,
younger. So it's just individuals have their own preferences. And obviously today it's easy to cover both face to face or virtual or what have you.
for sure. And what do you prefer? Do you like the in person, or are you more kind of on the Zoom train now?
Both work great. They both have advantages. So face to face, you tend to be able to read them a little bit better.
Hmm.
Body language, both. If it's a couple, both of them. On screen, it's easier to share data and information and keep everyone focused on a particular item or subject matter or whatever it might be. And you could highlight and circle and really keep people focused. So they both have advantages.
Yeah. And kind of transitioning back, I know you mentioned that you are constantly learning and listening to podcasts, reading books. Do you have any recommendations or things that you kind of stay up on top of, or content that you follow?
Yeah. So podcasts, I do a lot of that, going on walks, walking dog or whatever it might be. And I listen from industry, Michael Kitz's, he's fantastic. Both his, it's free, the podcast, and all his literature is fantastic. I'd highly recommend that. For younger advisors, what's kind of interesting, Caleb Brown, he has what's called the New Planner podcast, and you could also sign up for his blog, but he gives guidance to newer advisors.
Hmm.
And I think you might find that of interest. If there's some investment ones, Dimensional, DFA, they have a podcast. Haven't listened to that one for a while, but they also have a great research area that's available. Then I have non-industry from Freakonomics to Hidden Brain, Intelligence Matters, director of CIA
Yeah,
kind of stuff, just kind of different interests, but they all become relevant in some aspect to my business.
for
Uh,
sure.
Another one that's in the industry, but it's from a different take. It's more on the operations side, COO Roundtable. That's more of an operations side of our industry, and that has really some cool stuff as well.
Yeah, and I know a few of those that I stay on top of as well. They're great content to follow.
Yeah.
And then just kind of wrapping up a little bit, do you have any general advice for students here at MSU or any students listening? I know we have a lot of younger students that listen to our podcast and would appreciate your advice.
Yeah, same thing. Learn, be curious. Um, if you read something and then you want a little more, there's usually a reference to that and you could dig in a little bit deeper. Um, as you start your career, think about the position that you want and the role. Some roles provide great learning in maybe more narrow area, and some other roles may, but they give a lot of hand holding, a lot of teaching in those roles. And then some other areas might be more broad, where you get your hands dirty in a lot of different things. And
Mhm.
some people are more geared to the first, and some people are more geared where they want more range in what they learn and more, less hand holding or guidance, but just more want to be doing. So kind of learn what that is and what is a better fit for you. Um, Observe, look around, and when you're in that role, watch people and ask a lot of questions. When opportunities come up, take them, offer, your time to do those things. Um, what else? Listen to podcasts. Get involved in a local organization in the profession. there's local chapters for different organizations there. Try to get involved in those as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have at MSU and um, that you can get involved in for students too is the FPA. They have
Yeah,
a student section, and so I've done a few events with them. It's awesome. But
yeah. And you're involved with this podcast
yeah,
and all the
exactly.
guests that
So
you get to speak to.
exactly, just get out there and get involved. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Stefan, I had a great time having you on today, and I hope to keep in touch.
Likewise. Thanks, Lance. It's been a real
Yep.
treat.
If you like what you just heard, please like, comment, and share. This is Lance Mullen, producer of the MSU WMA podcast. MSU WMA, or Michigan State University Wealth Management Association, is a student organization part of the Eli Broad College of Business, located in East Lansing, Michigan. Our mission is to inspire and educate the next generation of financial planners. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed, please check out our channel on all platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and check out our social media at MSUWMA and MSUWMA.com.